Quote, "This is hilarious. What the fuck are you even talking about? I'm just going to assume you love Muslims, so here's some facts for you hippies who were dropped on your heads at some point in your childhood. 30% of British Muslims prefer Sharia before democracy. 28% want to see Britain turn into an Islamic state in the future. 62% do not want free speech in Britain." NOP research. "Now go remove yourself from the gene pool." End quote. That's from a fellow named Bobby. And I've been thinking about I've been thinking about a number of things, and I think you guys have finally convinced me that you finally convinced me that there's a real problem, and what I'd like to there's not really any. Obviously, our governments aren't willing to do anything about it because they're in bed with the Muslims. You know, at first glance, you might think, well, in a civil society, you've got laws, you've got rule of law, and people are, if they don't commit any crimes, then they can't be, prosecuted. But statistics don't lie, and Bobby's right. There's a frightening number of Muslims in Britain who don't think right. I mean, we don't have a problem like that in the U.S. If you poll Christians in the U.S., you're not going to find a startling number of Christians who think that this is their country exclusively. But anyway, since the state won't do anything about it, I don't know what we do. I mean, I guess we could take the matter into our own hands. Form up maybe like vigilante justice leagues, something to kind of, if we see somebody being really Muslim, we could maybe, I don't know, stop them in some way. I don't know. I wouldn't know how to do that. Some of you really brave, strong people could probably tell me about the best way to do that. Alternately, we could convince the government to get on board with this. I think some simple steps to just start with. Things like, make Muslims wear like identifying garments, or like some sort of, like a badge, just so that everyone knows, okay, there's, a Muslim, look out. The other thing would be, I think, maybe just putting them, if we could just sequester them into like their own little community, like kind of force them into, I don't know what the word would be, but like a grotto, or a neighborhood just for Muslims, ghetto. But then finally, I think the best solution for everyone is to put them on trains and sort of just ship them east. And that would be how I would handle it. Oh, I'm sorry, what was that? I, I couldn't hear you yelling over my own talking. A straw man, you say? You're, okay, that's a fair comment. It was a straw man. That's not what anybody's been saying at all. That's not what they've been implying, and that's not fair. It's a straw man. So, since that's a straw man, but we agree that Muslims are a problem in the West, what are we going to do about it? What do you want to do about it? You are so brave. Why don't you be the first to say out loud what it is we should do about it? If what I just listed was ridiculous, then what are we upset about? Are you kidding? I've got comments on here from people telling me about this terrifying thread. What do you want to do about it? I mean, If you're going to propose a problem in these terms, propose a solution. And let's all have a good laugh at you when your final solution turns out to be one that nobody really wants.